Sportsmax TV. I am Danique, and this is the home of the Montego Bay United Football Club, where they are hosting Portmore United today in the finals of the RSPL. I'm going to throw you over now to Lance and George. See you guys later.
Yep. Well, there they are, the Montego Bay boys running out with respect on their shirt. RESPECT, riffing on the famous song YOM. U again, STGI. Well, let's stop spelling, Lance. They are here. The hometown team is here. They warmed up somewhere else, and they are sprinting. Let's read what the mosaic will say when they've lined up.
Well, this has, without question, added to the colossal intrigue of this RSPL 2015-2016 final. They're in full black Montego Bay. Respect. Wow.
Respect, you must
be given.
Yes. Respect, you must give it. Respect, you must give it. That's the message from the Montego Bay United team, lads. Respect, you must give it. It's a protest sign, almost like that Black Power salute at the Olympics in the 1970s.
Which the American athletes were sanctioned for.
Absolutely. And the point must be made, Lance, regardless of the point that the political statement, because it is a political statement that Montego Bay United is making. The fact is, they are late for the championship game in the 2015-16 Red Stripe Premier League season. They have inconvenienced everybody connected with this final, and it must be that some sanction will follow at the end of this game.
Yes, well, we had suggested before that the PLCA had been expecting the possibility of this kind of reaction from the Montego Bay United team. There's their coach, Paul Teagat-Davis, former national striker, and we're gonna have a late kickoff. As we said before, it will be up to the match official, Valden Legister, who is the referee and the match commissioner, to see exactly what will happen and how the timetable will pan out from here. But as far as the situation goes at the moment, Montego Bay United, they have transgressed, and the sanctions facing them here, we don't know the extent of it, but they feel they have a point to be made, and they are making it. Even now, when I guess we should be getting ready with the formalities to get the game kicked off, they are there on the field, still making a statement to their fans.
The PFAJ have a battle on their hands after this game is done. But I tell you what, viewers, there's rain in the air. There's politics in the air. There's controversy in the air. There's needle in the air. Portmore United are ready for this game. Montego Bay United are still making their political statement. They are now taking the form of a sit-down protest in the center circle, with the match commissioner entreating the players to get to the dressing room and get ready. And let me tell you what, this is not going to go down well. We see the Montego Bay United players here. We are not sure if they're here to play football or if they are here to protest, Lance.
Well, I think the match commissioner at least is getting them to get a move on to some extent, because they are now getting their black clothing off, and the match commissioner trying to hurry them up, because we are already 3 minutes away from the scheduled kickoff. I'm not too sure exactly when the match will actually start, and there's Mobe now in their normal gear, and they apparently will be ready to play pretty soon, because the inside story is that they were at a nearby venue warming up. So I think they are ready and warm to play. Mentally, I don't know how focused they are on this match at the moment, because this emotionally and mentally would have taken something out of them. So how ready they are for the match and the quality of the Portmore team, I guess we'll see when the game kicks off.
Well, I tell you what, the convention says that they may be distracted, but it may be also that the perceived injustices that are perceived from their perspective may give them that extra motivation to go into this game, not as a football match, but as a war, not only against Portmore United, but against the system. And the best way they may believe to press home their political claims is to win this Premier League title and then do the necessaries after that. That said, Lance, it may also work to be that the emotional baggage of this protest will give them a burden that is too heavy going into a championship game. It may work against them. Again, I tell you what, at least 90 minutes will give us the answer to those questions we're asking.
Yes, so that is the story at the moment. Montego Bay United arriving late to the venue for the kickoff.
Fashionably late.
In black and with the imprint on their jerseys saying, respect, you must give it. So a real protest position here by Montego Bay United as they get ready for Portmore. And we go to break. We'll be back in a moment.
This is the football matchup we've all been waiting for. We're only seconds from kickoff. Welcome to everyone watching here with us.
Oh yes, but there seems to be a problem. We can't start the game just yet.
Yes, we are still waiting. Not sure for how much longer.
Well, we can't wait any longer.
Dave! What's the hold up, man? We want to start the game.
We have kickoff.
And it's a goal!
Grab a red stripe. This is start the game. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly. Grab your red stripe.
Start the game.
We're at the Montego Bay Sports Complex getting ready for a delayed start to the RSPL Final 2015-2016. And in competition, we have five-time champions Portmore United up against an angry three-time champions Montego Bay United, who were dissatisfied with the start time of 4 o'clock. And they've made their feelings known here with a protest before the game started. And we await the sanctions, or if any, will be announced by the organizers of the tournament. The Catherine Hall Sports Complex buzzing with excitement. Of course, the Montego Bay United fans are fully behind their team in the position that they're taking, and I guess would be pretty satisfied that at least we are sure now that the game will start maybe within the next 10 minutes or so.
Yes, indeed. And the fans here are in solidarity with their team for the most part. You heard them cheering them on, giving them a standing ovation as they protested down there. But this is what it has come to. They are at least here. We're going to start late, but we're going to get this game underway. It will be interesting to see how the emotional investment in that protest lance affects the Montego Bay United, or whether or not that emotional investment lifts them to a higher level and gets them to the championship, which, of course, is their ultimate aim.
So we are awaiting signs that the teams will take the field shortly and maybe get a kickoff here by about 4:10 or 4:15. Slight drizzle here at the Montego Bay Sports Complex, and some prospect of rain here to, I guess, add more excitement and more drama to what has been an intriguing afternoon here. We already have the Portmore United starting lineup. The Montego Bay team just arriving here a couple of minutes ago. We are yet to get their starting roster, but the Portmore lineup is already there as the fans are getting themselves covered.
Right, so we've gotten a team sheet for the Montego Bay United team, Lance. Not sure if there'll be any changes to it. Did see Dino Williams in a bib suggesting he's not starting the game, Lance. And the team sheet that we've been given does suggest that Dino Williams is on the bench. So we have a lineup of both teams. Provisional, the Montego Bay United lineup may be, but at least there's a starting 11 in hand for them.
And I would say it is surprising that Dino Williams is not on the provisional starting lineup here for Montego Bay United. He had a pretty serious hamstring injury about 3 weeks ago, and there was some question mark as to whether he would be ready for the final. The fact that he has not been placed on the starting roster here suggests that they aren't fully satisfied that he is ready. The starting lineup for Portmore United again: Shaven Sean Paul, Donovan Damano Solomon, Ryan Wellington, Osani Ricketts, Stephen Williams, Ewan Grandison, Michael Binns, Kimar Philpott, Tremaine Stewart, Ricardo Morris, and Javon East. Jeffrey Hewitt, the 36-year-old, in charge of Portmore.
Yes, indeed. And again, as we said, the forward line, it's all about the strikers this afternoon for Portmore United. Javon East, they say he's fit and rearing to go. They say Ricardo Morris is well within himself right now. And they also say that in defense, Damona Solomon has come to play. Portmore United very happy with the form that their players are in, and they expect this bunch to deliver the 6th title for the team formed in Clarendon as Hazard United, transplanted to St. Catherine as Portmore United, still with the hallmark of a champion. It's in their DNA after all.
Significant there that Morris is out on the left for Portmore. There's Jeffrey Hewitt, the coach of Portmore, engaging in his first ever RSPL final. There's the technical director with him, Andre Waugh. There's the Montego Bay United lineup. The 31-year-old big strong goalkeeper Jacomino Barrett, Ladale Richard, Kimar Drake, Leslie Fleur, Orlando McBain, Dwayne Ambusley, their 35-year-old captain, Keneal Curlew, Ronaldo Rodney, Jermaine Woozencroft gets the starting spot for the first time in several weeks. Alan Otti and Corey Hilton will have the scoring duties for Montego Bay United.
Yes, indeed, with a Owain Gordon-sized hole to fill in this team. The Montego Bay United coaching staff have said, well, Woozencroft is fit enough to start from the beginning. He has been affected by shin splints in recent weeks, so they've used him sparingly, taking him off the bench. Not today. This is the big game, and with Gordon absent, Woozencroft's skills, his silky distribution will be needed to feed the front men. Otti, who will be playing furthest forward, and Corey Hilton, who will be his withdrawn support striker.
4-4-2, the setup here for Montego Bay, and Paul Teagat Davis, 53-year-old coach of Montego Bay United, former national striker, one of the most outstanding strikers in the history of Jamaica's football, surpassed only by Luton Shelton as far as all-time scoring for Jamaica is concerned. And it appears as if Mo Bay will be given an opportunity to use the 15-minute grace period as a drizzle continues here at the Mo Bay Sports Complex, with the home team getting ready to brace themselves for a team that they have failed to beat all season in Portmore United. In fact, in 3 games, they've only scored once against them, and all is on line for Montego Bay United today to satisfy their fans and make an even bigger statement, because they've already made a protest statement because of the start time. But for them, the ultimate statement would be a championship title.
Yes, politics, intrigue, and football here at the Catherine Hall Sports Complex. Seba United, Montego Bay United, in their previous guise, they won their first Premier League title in 1986-87, beating Boys Town. Then they won the second title in 1996-1997, beating Arnett Gardens 4-3 on aggregate. And then they won their third title in 2013-14 as Montego Bay United, when they overcame Waterhouse 5-2 in a demolition job inside the National Stadium. As I told you before, the Montego Bay United team have been beaten in 5 Premier League finals. They fell to JDF in 84-85, fell to Boys Town in 88-89, beaten by Violent Kickers in 93-94 in the Montego Bay Derby. Then they fell to Waterhouse in 97-98, and their 5th defeat came last year, 2014-15. They were beaten by Arnett Gardens. Hazard United, as Portmore United were, they won their first Premier League title back in 1992-93, beating Arnett Gardens. Then they won their second when they beat Arnett Gardens again in 2002-2003, won in 2004-2005, beating Tivoli, beat Tivoli Gardens again in 07-08, and in 11-12 they beat Boys Town. So those are the 5 teams, the 5 times that Portmore United have won this Red Stripe Premier League competition.
And there is the Mo Bay United, the home team, coming through their locker room and getting ready for a major assignment here. You mentioned something significant, George, just now, that in 2014, when they won Mo Bay, they were handsome winners by 5-2 over Waterhouse. Here's the interesting fact that follows that statement. 3 goals were scored by Dino Williams and 2 by Owain Gordon. So the 5 goals that they used to win the championship final in 2014 came from players who are not on the starting roster today. Owain Gordon in the USA playing for Indy 11, and Dino Williams on the bench injured. Dino Williams scored the only goal that Montego Bay United have scored against Portmore this season, and he's not in the starting roster. So real problems here for Mo Bay. They will have to rely on the overall strength of their team to tackle Portmore tonight, because 2 of their key players I want to find a word even stronger than key players, because Owen Gordon and Dino Williams, what they have meant to Montego Bay United is far more than key. They have been tremendous. They have been almost inseparable and irreplaceable as far as Montego Bay's success is concerned in the past 4 years.
Absolutely. Perhaps stronger than key, we could say essential, vital even. That's what Gordon and Williams mean to Montego Bay United. But guess what? The talk is over, at least for now, because the teams are walking out to the sound of the FIFA anthem. The stadium rises in acclamation. Montego Bay United, the fans have come out at 4 o'clock. They're about to see their team. They were here sitting patiently and waiting. And the boys from St. Catherine, Portmore, the men from St. Catherine, looking for an unprecedented 6th Premier League title. Recall, Lance, and apart from Santos, Montego Bay United, Portmore United, the winningest team in local top flight competition. Santos with 5, Portmore United with 5. They're looking for a victory today, which will take them to 6, and with sole leadership in terms of the most successful local team in Jamaican football.
And there's Dwayne Ambosley, the 35-year-old captain of Montego Bay, and the excitement here at crescendo levels here under cloudy skies and slightly rainy conditions. And the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Captain RSPL, is leading the introduction party, and Ambosley leads the introductions for the Montego Bay United team.
Part of the politics as well is that Orville Powell put in a bid to challenge Captain Horace Burrell for the presidency of the Jamaica Football Federation, and that challenge went belly up. So Orville Powell is a man who believes that the whole world is against him and his Montego Bay United team, and I believe that part of that fed into this protest, and he'll tell you, Orville Powell will, he's a passionate guy, that he has every right to behave and conduct himself in the manner that he has because of the experience that he has faced, and that his team, the circumstances, adverse circumstances, he'll tell you that his team have been burdened with over the course of the campaign.
Ewan Grandison, the man with the number 17 shirt, is the captain of the Portmore team today. Big, strong, and very, very aggressive. A very heavy kicker of the ball as well. And let's see how he will lead the team. Very, very bleak conditions here, as we said. Rain. Not a heavy downpour, but a steady drizzle here for the kickoff for this RSPL final. Here's the national anthem.
Bless our land, guard us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil powers, be our light through countless hours, to our leaders, great defender, grant true wisdom from above, justice, truth be us forever, Jamaica, land we love, Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us due respect for all, stir response to duty's call, strengthen us the weak to cherish, and give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge, send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above, justice, truth be us forever, Jamaica, land we love, Jamaica, 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 land we love.
protocol everywhere dictates that when the anthem is sung, you do the complete anthem. When you play it from a CD or other device, you can play a verse, you can truncate it, not when it is sung. So usually, Lance, we have a few ingredients going into a final. We've had everything. We have rain now. We had the politics before. We had the uncertainty of whether or not one of the protagonists would turn up. Let's see what happens when the referee sends them on their way.
Lakeisha Barnes there with the national anthem. Portmore in white, Montego Bay in green and blue. And under a drizzle here at the Montego Bay Sports Complex, the RSPL final for 2015-2016 is about to go off. Dating back to 2011, Portmore and Montego Bay United have met 12 times. Only one Montego Bay United victory to report in all of those matches that they've played. Montego Bay United will have to break that trend this afternoon to win their second title in 3 years. Portmore confident, the league champions. They've come into this final considered by many to be the favorites, but you know what? Mobe are pumped up. I think Mobe will be hard to beat this evening.
Yes, indeed. They'll have to be hard to beat. And as I noted earlier, the shocking statistic for me is that 16 Premier League final appearances between the two teams, and they've never met. I can't believe that Hazard and Seba in their previous guises, these two teams, and even after they changed to Portmore and Montego Bay United respectively, they've never met in a championship final. This is the 17th time both together will play in a final, and let's see who will emerge victorious at the end of the process.
Now, Mobe believe that they are a big occasion team. When they were meeting Arnett Garns in the semi-finals, the statistics pointing to an Arnett Garns success, part of that was built on the fact that Mobe had not beaten Arnett Garns all season in 3 meetings. Well, you know what? Mobe said, well, this is the semi-final and we'll beat them now. And they did. 4-3 on aggregate. This afternoon, many people are saying Montego Bay don't know how to beat Portmore United. The statistics suggest that. But Mobe want to prove that on the big occasion, they can do it, and they will do it this evening. Let's see if they'll be successful. The kickoff, 15 minutes late because of a Montego Bay United protest of the start time, and the Vuvuzelas and the Mobe United fans immediately erupting in support for their team. And they have ball possession through Curlew. Otti Ambersley. Ricardo Morris darts forward, rushed off the football. Woozencroft, former Rossis player, robbed of the ball by Tremaine Stewart. But Mobe retrieving the ball very quickly through McBain. That's LaDale Ritchie. Rodney. Curlew, the ball slips through his legs. East. Morris, very, very skillful on the ball. Ball played forward there, but East was not in a position to retrieve it. And the big Giacomino Barrett, 236 pounds, 6 feet 4 inches tall, a giant of a man in the Montego Bay United goal, has a job this afternoon of preventing Portmore to score.
When we did the Montego Bay Portmore United game Monday Night Football, that 3-1 win by Portmore, we saw an outfit that didn't allow Montego Bay to settle on the ball. They got to them quickly, they harassed them, especially the man grandest in the center of the park for Portmore United. Let's see if similar tactics are employed here. Owain Gordon accounted for a lot of the attention that Portmore played to the Mobe attackers. He's not here this afternoon. Let's see how they pick up Otti and Hilton.
Binns trying to force the ball through, blocked there by Curlew. Ambersley looking to play a more forward position this afternoon. Goes wide to get to Rodney. Does good work down the right side. Very, very aggressive challenge coming in there. And goal kick here won by Portmore. So a pretty brisk start, very intense move there by Ronaldo Rodney down the right flank. Very, very aggressively challenged. Free kick to Portmore, deep inside their own half. Morris attempting a skillful move to get around McBain, who we expect may have a very, very busy afternoon here trying to fend off Ricardo Morris. Grandison's long ball downfield, looking for Tremaine Stewart. Kemar Drake taking no chances there, and banging, that's Leslie St. Fleur, in fact, banging the ball behind for a corner. So the pressure put on by Portmore earlier. The first corner of the match goes to Portmore, and it's going to be struck by Michael Binns, who was a standout player in the semis.
He was the best player on the park by a mile in the semi-final against Humberland, the second leg.
Binns, 4 white shirts for Portmore in the box, 2 lurking just outside the box. Binns' floated corner kick is a good one. Morris with a tremendous left-footed strike, crashes off the Montego Bay defender. I think Morris was appealing for a handball there, but that was a bullet-like strike. That was blocked by the Montego Bay defense. Oh, there goes Otti. Otti goes into the box, knocked over. Oh, the referee points through. Penalty is in.
No, it's a free kick on the edge of the box.
The box and a yellow card.
Very good decision by Otti. I thought he had overrun it, but he's so fast over ground that he got there just in the nick of time, knowing that the defender would have to commit and would have to foul him. Good play by the Montego Bay man.
Otti tumbles over from the challenge and has won for Montego Bay a free kick just on the edge of the 18-yard box. So Montego Bay United, long ball downfield there, and Montego Bay capitalizing here on a very clumsy looking attempted clearance there by, I think that was Manning. Osani Ricketts it was. Otti tumbles over in the box.
It was actually Kamar Philpott, and I tell you what, he's a lucky boy, but it's a superb call by the referee because he got the, it looked from real time as if it was a penalty, but the referee saw it clearly and he has done the right thing. It's a free kick outside the 18-yard box. Just on the edge rather, just on the edge of the 18-yard box.
And Otti's going to strike it himself, it seems. Alan Otti with an opportunity here to go for goal. Otti's right-footed strike crashes straight into the Portmore wall. Ball back dangerously.
Handball.
Handball. Free kick.
Tremaine Stewart transgressing there. But the defense, interestingly, Lance, it was from Ricardo Morris's shot that Ambusley put his body in the way. Then it was Ambusley on the break who played that long ball downfield that the Portmore defenders made a meal of clearing and gave Otti that chance. A man is down for Montego Bay early.
So Montego Bay's medical staff being drawn into action pretty early here. In the meantime, Portmore setting up a 3-man wall to try to keep this free kick out. It's actually Otti who looks to have a painful shoulder. So problems here early for Montego Bay, and strategizing for this match. Looks to be having a lot of discomfort there in the shoulder. Alan Otti, former St. James High player.
He got the knock from the passage of play that earned them the free kick just on the edge of the 18. Grimaced when he got up from that tackle, and I don't think he has recovered from it. I can tell you from our vantage here, viewers, that the fans are still streaming in. They're still coming in, even though we are gone well past the scheduled kickoff time. We started 15 minutes late after all, and with the action already on the way, they're still coming into the main stand here at the Catherine Hall Sports Complex. It looks like a...
Otti doesn't look good, George.
Yeah, I think he's done.
There's the corner kick by Binns, and met sweetly.
Look at Ambusley here. That was his block. It was to the midriff. No handball there. Good call by the referee. And then Ambusley will clear that long pass, which created that chance for Otti.
Huge worry here for Otti, who was one of the players brought in to solve the problems of Dino Williams and Owain Gordon being absent. And immediately, within 7 minutes of the kickoff, he's in real problems. A shot on goal. Oh, just wide.
I tell you what, close shave there for shaven Sean Paul. But Dino Williams is already warming up. Otti looks distressed. He's going to give it a go. He's going to give it a go at least, Lance, but I don't think physically.
Yes, he was grimacing, and he was actually shaking his head in a negative manner. That suggests that he didn't feel confident physically that he could handle the assignment here. Ladale Ritchie, very confident at central defense for Montego Bay. Ambusley not satisfied with his forward passing options, so he starts up from the back once more. Kemar Drake and then Ladale Ritchie with a long ball. Bad ball by Ritchie, gives the ball away. Throw to Portmore.
We must say that the rain hasn't done any injustice to the quality of the surface. In fact, it's the best playing surface, bar none, in the country. You can't throw the ball to yourself, Kareem Manning. Osani Ricketts, you should know that.
Yeah, the ball slipped out of his hand. I think that was courtesy of the wet conditions here. The throw forward there by Leslie St. Fleur. Ball comes back in his direction and gets another throw here. So 8 minutes in, no goals yet, but we've seen some flurry of action in both ends.
2 of the 3 times that Portmore have beaten Montego Bay United this season, Portmore have actually started faster and been more aggressive. But this afternoon it's Montego Bay United who are doing the running early.
Tremaine Stewart being shoved off the ball by Alan Otti, gives up a throw due to the pressure on him. Throw to Mobe. Pretty high inside the Portmore half. Solomon's clearance doesn't get a lot of distance. Matt Bain gets close to it, but clumsily puts the ball further back. Ritchie collects easily. Barrett. Drake is with him. He opts to go long. Otti's glancing header safely held by Shaven Sean Paul. East challenged there by Ladale Ritchie. Ball banged across. Whistle. There's Matt Bain. Former Mushet High player has a difficult job this afternoon because it appears, based on the set of the Portmore team, Morris will be doing a lot of his work down the left flank. Now Morris can be unstoppable with his skill, trickery and speed. Matt Bain, I believe, will have a very busy evening.
And it's a tactical sleight of hand by the Portmore coaching staff, because usually Morris raids down the right. He's left-footed after all, cuts in on his left foot. The Portmore coaching staff seeking to wrong-foot the Montego Bay United, their counterparts.
Chaffong East, edge of the box. His cross inside is delightful, but the ball is cleared away. Great work there by Ladale Ritchie. Solid at central defense for Montego Bay. He did well there.
Was outstanding over the 2 semi-final legs, and early doors in this game has shown that he's taken that form into this final.
Ladale Ritchie very, very stout at central defense for them. Former Cedric Titus player, also played for Village. There's big Giacomino Barr. Ricketts with a throw. Had Portmore's only goal in their loss at Effortville to Humble Lion, Osani Ricketts. His first and only goal of the season so far, but it came at a critical time.
Yes,
for
indeed.
sure. Even though they lost the match, it made their comeback process a little easier for the return game.
And it was a psychological blow, because in the post-match interview, the Humble Lion coach Vassal Reynolds said he'd have preferred a 2-0 lead going into the second leg. So it was something that played on the mind of the Humble Lion team, and a cushion they could, the Portmore United capitalized on over the second leg.
Yeah, so there he is. Osani Ricketts got that consolation goal at Edwardville in their first leg semi-final loss to Humble Lion, heading in from a goal-mouth scramble. Very, very tight game here so far. A lot of confidence from the Portmore camp coming into this match because of their success against Mobe in the past. Ball forced forward there, but no one gets close to it for Portmore. Drake back to his goalkeeper. Barrett's kick out just clears the halfway line. Binns does well, but heads only to Curlew. Curlew under some pressure, gives the ball away. Ricketts. Philpott gives the ball away as well. Curlew, Rodney, Ambersley, Drake. Ricketts gets under it for Portmore. St. Fleur heads the ball out. St. Fleur, a Bahamian national, actually born in Haiti. St. Fleur. but plays both regular football and beach football for the Bahamas. Binns in a midfield tussle for the ball, loses it. Wozencroft breaks free. Otti. Oh, the return pass to Wozencroft, poor.
And this is where the absence of Owain Gordon is especially felt, because he'd have been one of the obvious balls for Wozencroft to look for long there. With him absent, it's a more circumspect attack from Montego Bay United, especially when they counter.
Javon East gets the ball through to Morris. Morris, skillful on the ball. Stewart, Binns. Binns, delightful ball across. Oh, ball miscontrolled by Kamar Manning. That was an exquisite pass, and Manning failed to hold it.
And McBain is a lucky boy, because he was dozing in his defensive duties in that right back position, and the ball played over his shoulder. He's not aware of the run of the Portmore United man, and the miscontrol bails him out. Good pass from Binns, reprising his role, his hero role from the second leg semi-final win over Humberland.
Oh, Binns is in top form, isn't he? Really, really outstanding, that pass. Clinical, perfectly weighted, and Manning made a mess of it. Manning's good this time with a header to his captain, Grandison. Solomon. Stock is safe and assured at the back for Portmore. Morris trying to flick the ball on, but a throw to Mobe. There's Morris, the 23-year-old, 6 feet 2 inches tall Morris, and one of the leading goal scorers for Portmore. Not only has good goal scoring ability, but good provider as well because of his skill, dribbling and passing.
The game is being played at a pace that Montego Bay United are most comfortable, Lance. Portmore not able to hurry them in their stride or out of their stride so far this game, and that's the way they like it. Usually, Portmore United successful against Mobe United, they hurry the St. James team. Not so far in this game.
Otti's forceful pass through the middle. Not too sure who that was intended for. Didn't go to anyone in the end. Morris, let's see what he'll do here. Very tricky. Oh, he's forced to go further back with the ball. And the clearance. Grandison loses it. Ball flicked inside. Too much weight on it. I don't think Wozencroft was looking for the pass in that direction. And it's sprayed right through to the goalkeeper, Shaven Sean Paul.
Corey Hilton should have put his laces through that one. He's inside the box. Wozencroft is not in a position where he can collect the pass and do anything with it. And really ought to have fired that goal, but passed up the responsibility. Hilton needs to be more assertive than that. He's on this team to score goals in this game, especially with Gordon absent and Dino Williams only on the bench.
Foul committed, but the game goes on. Otti bangs the ball across goal, behind for a goal kick. In the meantime, the fans' attention drawn to the middle of the field, where that late challenge there left, I think it's Corey Hilton nursing a bit of a blow there to the foot. I think it was to his ankle. There's Otti's effort, left-footed, going for the far post and wide.
And I blame Rodney there, because Rodney was not in danger of being offside. Should have busted a gut to get into a central striking position. And maybe his instincts betraying him there. Perhaps if it were Owain Gordon or Dino Williams, they would have been giving Alan Otti that passing option. In the end, Otti had no option but to go for a shot across the goalkeeper and flashing it wide.
No, one of the issues that we looked at coming into the game is that the strong points for Mobe over the years, Dino Williams and Owain Gordon, not in the starting roster here. Now, obviously that would weaken them to an extent, but Portmore admitted before the game that as far as planning for Mobe is concerned, they had some difficulties here, because usually they know exactly what to expect from Owain Gordon and Dino Williams and can plan for that. Right now they have to plan more studiously for some other players that they may have admittedly not taken that much note of in the past.
Absolutely. Defenders now have to be tuned in as to how to defend against Corey Hilton. Not knowing what he's likely to do. You knew very well the Owain Gordon script from a prologue to epilogue. Different scenario with Hilton playing as your central striker and Otti trying to link with him from an outside left position.
Yeah, and Mobe will also take strength from the fact that when they got past Arnett Garnes in the semi-finals, especially that second leg, Owen Gordon didn't play very well. Here's Mobe on the attack. Oh, Hilton a little bit lazy in going for the ball, and Mobe making the clearance.
Almost as if Hilton felt he was in an offside position, ran to the ball and didn't want to touch it.
Yes.
Very, very strange, and hearing the wrath, the displeasure of the crowd here, the partisan support here inside the Catherine Hall Sports Complex.
Ambersley, Hilton, looking there for Otti. Oh, the clearance over for a throw. Now, we wondered before the game started, George, if Mobe would have been weighed down by the mental strain of their protest and the energy being given to that, or would it be part of them being pumped up and being hard to beat in this game? So far, we have to say that they look pretty strong here in the opening 18 minutes.
No doubt that they are the team that has settled better. And again, the pace at which the game is being played, well, they're dictating the pace at which it is being played. Portmore operates best against Montego Bay United at a higher tempo. They've been unable to find that higher tempo so far. And that's why Mobe are on top marginally.
The ground curator also suggested yesterday that the Catherine Hall Sports Complex field here is going to be playing a little bit faster this evening than it may have played in the past, because he has cut the grass down now to a 2-inch level, less than it had been before, when it had more grass and the ball would move slower off the field. Now the ball moving faster off the field because the grass is cut a little lower now than it had been for the past few months. Wonder which team will benefit from that. Handball
by Richie.
He's complaining that he didn't handle the ball.
I believe him. He took it on his chest and it rebounded onto his arm.
A free kick here for Portmore. That could be very problematic for Montego Bay United. Portmore have some very, very exciting kickers of the ball. Binns, Grandison, among them. So nervous moments here for the home team. Barrett, the goalkeeper, would probably want more than 3 players in this wall based on where the kick is going to be struck from. At the moment, I think he only has 3 players in the wall. And I think Binns is the man that might strike it. Or is it Tremaine Stewart? That's Binns there.
I think he's going to the goalkeeper's right.
They fortified the wall with a bit. Oh, the ball punched down. Barrett with a second save. A double save by Giacomino Barrett. East fails to hit the rebound in, and Portmore squander an opportunity to go up midway the first half.
Absolutely comical stuff from Javon East. That was the breakthrough. The rebound fell kindly to him at a good enough pace for him to blast it on goal. Look, he went to the goalkeeper's left. Made good contact. He was unlucky. The goalkeeper bested him on that occasion.
Fine double save there. I think the ball snuck up on East and he didn't really get the kind of kick that he wanted to get on the ball, and kicked it straight into the body of Giacomino Barrett, who survives here with a double save. Corey Hilton. Handball, free kick to Portmore, midway their own half.
To be kind, to be fair to Javon East, I don't think he actually kicked that. It was in his stride. He was running towards the ball, and in moving, it hit his foot.
Yes, I don't think he was balanced enough to get a proper shot off, and in the end, muffed it. Mobe with 65% of the ball so far, halfway through the first half.
And Portmore with the best chance.
That's right. Wozencroft fails to control. Ritchie with a clearance. Ball over the touchline there, collected by Williams, whose throw is quick. Good challenge there by Wozencroft to just stunt the forward move of Portmore for a moment. They've given up a throw again through Ladale Ritchie's right-booted clearance. So Mobe would have been satisfied with the start they've had here, with an absolutely atrocious head-to-head record against Portmore. A lot of strain on them now to fix that. Phil Potts. Too much weight on the pass. Sinclair just shadows and ensures that Osani Ricketts doesn't get to the ball.
Yes, and whereas Portmore from time to time are looking to push the fullbacks on, in turn, of course, you never see two fullbacks going up at the same time. Pretty much the man on the left for Montego Bay United, Leslie Sinclair, has stayed home. And over on the right, McBain hasn't ventured too far forward either.
Already established that Portmore have no difficulties here playing in Montego Bay. The last time they were here, they beat Montego Bay by 3-1. And they actually completed the regular season with the best away record. They were the best road team in the regular season, Portmore, gathering 33 of their 61 points on the road, which tells you that they won more points away from home than they did at home. And Montego Bay suffered against them twice. 1-0 opening match of the season, and again there's 2-0 opening match of the season, 2 Ricardo Morris goals, and then the 3-1 victory back in March.
And in that 3-1 victory, what happened was that in the middle of the park, Grandison and Binns, well, Grandison to a large extent, overpowered the veteran Dwayne Ambusley. The policeman in the middle of the park for Montego Bay couldn't get any change out of the younger guys. And to that effect, Montego Bay were rendered ineffective in the middle of the park. And that's where their game started to break down. Portmore capitalized on that. So far this afternoon, Ambusley has been winning that battle.
Yeah, 2 teams that have displayed really solid defensive, among the best defensive teams in the league so far this year as well. Portmore and Montego Bay. Montego Bay having 18 clean sheets in their 33-game program. Very, very impressive. Portmore, the next best with keeping clean sheets at 16. So both teams have advertised pretty solid defense over the season. No team in the RSPL regular season scored more goals than Montego Bay did, and they're looking for a goal here to get their campaign off in this final. Tremaine Stewart. Long ball forward there to Ricardo Morris, who has gone over now to the right. Oh, Morris tries to get the ball between the legs of Drake, and does. Oh, he fights hard and regains possession of the ball. Oh, there's a shoving match now going on between Drake and Morris, and the players coming to pull them apart. Ah, yellow card may come out pretty soon from referee Legister. Morris is enraged.
And if anything, Morris should be angry with the referee, because he's the one who didn't give him the call, and then he launched into the X-rated tackle on the Montego Bay man, and then Drake followed up with a crunching tackle of his own.
And the free kick is actually for Montego Bay. So Drake and Morris engaged in a moment of tempers flaring. There's Morris, tackled here by Drake. Gets the ball through Drake. Drake appears to get an arm in the face as well. Morris returns, and with a crunching challenge, Drake again challenges on Morris. There's the ball between the legs of Drake. Drake grabs onto the shirt, shoves him in the chest as well. He doesn't want the embarrassment of losing out on a play like that. Here he comes in strong here with a return tackle, and Morris isn't pleased by that challenge. Players having to come in here to pull the players apart. Sinclair goes away down the left side. Can he get across inside? Sliding challenge from Solomon. Gets the ball over the touchline for a throw to Montego Bay.
The first time Sinclair has overlapped all afternoon.
It's Curlew. Drake. Ambusley. McBain. Wozencroft is with him. He opts to go to Corey Hilton down the right. Hilton under pressure from Wellington. Oh, Solomon gets a clearance. Ball goes for a corner, it seems. There's Solomon.
Unlucky for Portmore, because it was a blind pass by Hilton. Didn't really have a recipient, just hoped for something and got a corner.
Corner here. Corner here to Montego Bay. 5 green shirts in the box, looking for a scoring opportunity. Some shoving in the box there. Referee Legister goes in and has a word with the guilty players. Wozencroft with a corner kick for Mobe to the near post. Headed away by Morris, taken by Curlew. Curlew goes to Otti. Otti gets into the box and fires a left footer. That's wide. His eyes opened up there, Otti, but he didn't get around the ball well enough.
Yes, Lance, but bad decision. There were 3 Mobe men in the vicinity of the 6-yard box. He should have driven to the byline and then looked for a cutback. Otti has to do better than that.
Yeah, he had the opportunity. There were 3 Mobe players, as you said, hovering around the penalty area. He could have kept that a bit and done something more productive with it. Ladale Rich's clearance is high towards the halfway line. Grandison doesn't know where the ball is. He knows where it is now, by his feet. Binns. Williams. Matt Bain has come into the middle of the park. Curlew under some pressure. Shoved off the ball by Tremaine Stewart. Wozencroft. Corey Hilton is crashed into by Rand Wellington and won a free kick.
Curlew is not a player, Keneal Curlew, we speak of often, but he's such a very good player. Does his job so quietly, so efficiently, without fanfare, without flair. And I spoke of Ambersley earlier. I think he's been the best midfielder for Mobe United in terms of disrupting what Portmore are trying to string through the center of the park. He's been everywhere, as you'd expect your defensive midfielder to be, a Keneal Curlew. Mobe looking to build from the base of his performance.
Forced play of field there, looking for Javon East. Ambersley has some room in midfield. Hilton can't keep the ball. Portmore handling that well. Wellington for Portmore. Not satisfied with his forward passing options. Grandison. Portmore patient. Binns. Stewart. 63% ball possession for Mobe, so they're still having a lot more of the ball. Wozencroft hurts himself as he comes in there with a challenge. The referee comes in and gives a card to Tremaine Stewart.
And I think the referee has booked the right player. Let me tell you why. Because Wozencroft went in on the slide, but I think Tremaine Stewart exposed the studs in his tackle. And that's the reason that the referee has brandished the yellow card and shown it to the Portmore man.
Yes, it was a 50-50 ball that both of them slid into. There it is.
Yeah.
The studs for Tremaine Stewart.
Correct call.
And referee Legister makes the right call, and Tremaine Stewart goes into the books with a yellow card. And there's,
let's face it, Lance,
a laceration on the shin of Wozencroft from the challenge.
Yes, Portmore have looked dangerous the few times they've attacked, but in midfield, Mobe have ruled this game in midfield so far. That's no doubt. That man in your picture, Keneal Curlew, and his skipper, Dwayne Ambersley, have bossed the center of that park.
You know, I thought looking at the semi-final match when they fended off that outstanding Arnett Gardens team that they were able to do well enough with a subpar performance from Owain Gordon. That told me that this Montego Bay United team has enough quality, even without those key players, to be very, very strong here in this final. And so far, we're seeing signs of that. Wozencroft, good work. Oh, the return pass has too much weight on it. And the throw is for Portmore. Wozencroft isn't happy. Has a thing to say to the assistant referee, Stacey Ann Grayson,
who made an excellent call on an offside when Marcelina Blackburn scored at a crucial time for Arnett Gardens in that semi-final against Mobe United.
Long kick downfield. Oh, St. Fleur misses the ball. Kimar Drake challenges and wins from East. East glances at the referee to say, "Didn't you see the foul?"
Or was that Miss Yi Sing?
It was Miss Yi Sing.
Yes.
Wellington for Portmore. Ambersley challenges well. Takes the return pass. Ball slid through. Looking for Corey Hilton. Doesn't get to him. Matt Bain under pressure. Inside here to Ambersley. This is a smart-looking Mobe performance, but Portmore strong in defense and getting the ball away. Tremaine Stewart goes wide, looks for East, who collects well. East, straight ball for Binns. Perfectly challenged by Ladale Ritchie, who comes under pressure. Ritchie eventually gets the ball out. Osani Ricketts, Curlew under pressure. Ambersley, Morris wins the ball and is fouled. Free kick to Portmore, 30 yards out.
I tell you what, that's a good foul from the Mobe skipper, because Morris was running into space with Wozencroft chasing him. It's a mismatch for pace, and Morris would have been in towards homing in on the 18-yard box. So it's a good foul by the skipper to abort, well, to interrupt that Portmore United attack at that point.
Yeah, Morris is the type of player, if you give him room, he will kill you. And as you just said, he was really darting away into some open space just now. Free kick to Portmore. Michael Binns, who scored from a free kick against Humberland in the second leg semi-final, has an opportunity here to drive one left-footed at Jacomino Barrett, who comes off his line and hovers close to the 6-yard box. The ball is driven poorly by Binns, and behind for a goal kick. The Mobe fans telling Binns what they thought about his effort.
The one criticism I have of Mobe thus far, Lance, is that in attack, I think the Hilton-Otti partnership is not working. When Hilton gets the ball centrally, Otti is 10, maybe even 15 yards away from him. And then with the Portmore United defenders, 2-3 of them around, it's difficult for any link play to take place. And so when that ball is retained by Mobe in a central attacking area, unless the midfielders are coming forward rapidly to support Hilton for the layoff and for the subsequent connection, it's difficult for him and Otti to get anything going. There's a huge gap there that I think Owain Gordon or Dino Williams would have been able to solve, but not Hilton and Otti. That partnership so far not working out.
That's right. Two teams here that have worked really, really hard to get into the final. Portmore, by virtue of being regular season champions, suggesting that overall they have been the best team in the regular season, although no team scored more goals and conceded fewer goals than Montego Bay United. So statistically, Mobe United have had a tremendous season themselves.
The only team to score over 50 goals in the competition.
35 of them combined from Dino Williams and Owain Gordon, who are not here. 24 Gordon and 15 for Dino Williams. Williams on the Mobe bench at the moment because of a hamstring injury. St. Fleur does well with a double-header and the clearance eventually. Ambersley has worked like a stallion in midfield for Mobe so far. A real captain's effort so far from Dwayne Ambersley, the 35-year-old former Russell's man.
Hasn't put a foot wrong, Ambersley.
That shot from Ricardo Morris earlier on that he blocked was heading straight for goal. I'm not sure if Jacomino Bart would have stopped it.
No, and then even more impressively after blocking that effort, launched a counter-attack that almost resulted in a penalty for his team.
Free kick to Portmore. High inside their own half down the right side. It's going to be struck by Solomon, one of the most outstanding central defenders this RSPL season.
A bright future this player has at the moment, Solomon. His timing of the tackle is so...
And his aerial prowess as well for a player that is not very tall, probably just about 5 feet 8 inches or so. Mobe. Wozencroft. Wozencroft does well to keep possession of the ball. Looks good on the ball. Wozencroft, now he loses his balance and loses the ball. Binns. Ricketts with a clearance downfield. Ambersley heads into open space. Corey Hilton gets to the ball. Hilton doesn't have too much support. Forced to play the ball back to Matt Bain. Matt Bain has Ladale Ritchie with him. The ball squirts into open space, and again, Ambersley is the man that finds himself collecting the loose ball, covering a lot of ground in midfield for Mobe. Matt Bain, Curlew, Ladale Ritchie, Matt Bain. Good sequence of passes here from Mobe. Oh, the ball squirts right through, but Portmore taking control now. And Curlew wins possession. Knocked off the ball. Free kick to Mobe high inside the Portmore half. So Portmore being tested here in midfield and in defense, as Mobe have been constant in their offensive game.
Being outplayed in midfield, as we've noted several times, and at this tempo, Lance, Portmore cannot hurt cannot hurt Montego Bay United. They need to play at a higher tempo, and I'm wondering if they're playing to instruction the way they've gone about this first half, because this is very un-Portmore-like. Not the usual bustling, snapping into tackles, a pace on the break. Not seeing that from the St. Catherine team thus far in this game.
Yeah, this is Montego Bay on the attack now with Corey Hilton. Hilton under some pressure, doesn't have a lot of support, puts himself in further trouble where there's no support. And now Portmore winning the ball and not the throw, says assistant referee Stacey Ann Grayson. You know, George, we had spoken about before the game started the protest that the Montego Bay team had and how much that may have mentally drained them because of where their mind was. But spare a thought for Portmore. What would have been going through their minds? Could they have been affected, Portmore, by the pre-game antics of Montego Bay?
Yes, indeed, the uncertainty, and say what the administrators want. We heard Linval Dixon say it wasn't an issue.
Jeffrey Hewitt said so, and Andre Waugh said so as well.
Those are the administrators, the players themselves. It must have been running through their mind. Will we win this trophy without kicking a ball? Perhaps it did.
And then when 4 o'clock came, which was the scheduled start time, there was
no Montego Bay.
There was no Montego Bay. So, you know, we have to consider that Portmore could have been a bit unsettled by the pre-match flurry. Binns. Oh, that was East coming out of an offside position because he was offside, so he wasn't looking for the play behind him.
And to show you what I mean by the lack of pace in the Portmore attack, there was Binns on the ball looking for passing options. There were 3 in front of him, but there were 3 men coming from an offside position walking towards him. There was no one darting behind the defense for him to play a ball to. Look at this. The 3 men, the only man, no man making a run that he could slip a ball through to. And that's what I mean by a slow build-up not suiting Portmore's style of play, because that ball should have been lofted over the defense for someone to run onto in the channel.
Ambersley to Otti. Otti under some pressure from Osani Ricketts. Ricketts does well. Jockeying. Sinclair. Curlew wants the ball, but it goes to Drake instead. Now Richie. Matt Bain is way over on the right side. Richie opts not to go that direction. Comes back to Drake. Montego Bay searching for their passes. Ambersley. Drake. Richie. Matt Bain is wide. He goes straight. Oh, poor pass there from Richie.
He's not happy. Andre Waugh, the technical area, I'm prowling the technical area. He's also unhappy and remonstrating with a few of his players because they don't like the tempo at which the boys are playing in white. They want the tempo to be lifted, and they're not creating the opportunities that they'd have expected.
Solomon straight forward. Barrett easy with the take. Solomon gets onto the ball, heads across to Williams. Williams is under some pressure but does well to get the forward pass to Tremaine Stewart. Javon East, ball taken in the chest there by Richie, who's really stood strong in defense for Montego Bay, but now gives the ball away. And the skillful Binns has it. Ricketts. Philpott. Wellington. Solomon. Grandison. Solomon. So Portmore. Patient now in the build-up. Grandison. Binns. Philpott marshalling that holding position in midfield for Portmore. They haven't been able to get out of their box here for the past minute or so because they aren't satisfied with the passing options up front. Curlew commits a foul. Free kick to Solomon. So two things in the play that we just saw there. Portmore not able to get the free-flowing passes up front. A statement maybe that Montego Bay are falling behind the ball well and marking up as well.
Yes, indeed. Not only marking spaces, Montego Bay, marking players most crucially. And so cutting off the passing lanes. Impressive so far from the Teagat Davis, Dylan Thelwell coached team. The only thing they're lacking, of course, is a goal to make this a great first half for them.
Just a few minutes remaining here in the half. And a throw being awarded to Montego Bay. Sinclair to Drake. Ambersley. St. Fleur. Ambersley fouled. Free kick. That was Philpott with the challenge. Ambersley with the free kick. He's really been a tower of strength in midfield for Montego Bay this afternoon, playing like a real general. He is the team leader. There's his pass from the spot to Liddell Ritchie. Hilton, who gives the ball away. Hilton looks a little off color today. Rodney hasn't seen a lot of the ball himself. Now he tries to get into the play, Rodney. Not legitimately. Foul on Javon East. Look how far East was dropping back there for the ball.
Because nothing is happening out front. How many times have you seen Binns pass to the feet of East or Morris in an attacking position? That's how Portmore is set up to play. They've not done so far in this game.
Otti doing well in defense, coming back. Solomon breaks the play up. Free kick to Montego Bay. 1.5 minutes remaining in this first half. St. Fleur with a throw for Montego Bay. Ambersley's under pressure. Protects the ball well. Rodney turns. Fouled by Philpott. Free kick to Rodney and Montego Bay. High inside the Portmore half.
A lot of niggly fouls by the Portmore players as they try to claw back some of the possession in this game. Again, well, the free kick not taken from the right spot, but Montego Bay total command of this game. They now have Portmore playing at the pace that they want them to. That's dominance.
Curlew under some pressure, darts towards goal. Curlew, but gives the ball away. Smartly challenged by Grandison to Morris. Wozencroft putting in some midfield work. Tremaine Stewart under pressure. Hilton wins the ball, darts forward. Hilton cuts inside, still Hilton sends the ball forward. Wow, I thought he should have given Rodney that ball a long time ago.
No, I still blame Rodney for that because Hilton did the work, carried the ball neatly. Rodney gave up on the pass. Didn't think he was going to get it again, and so when it came, he was caught on his heels. You have to continue working, Lance. You know this.
Yeah, but I wondered if he shouldn't have given the ball before, though.
That's true, but he didn't get it. But he didn't get it, so he should have continued looking for it. He gave up on it. By the time Hilton released him, he was caught on his heels and so couldn't capitalize.
Maybe he didn't want to run offside. St. Fleur puts the chase on. Solomon gets there with a robust challenge.
It wasn't because he was trying to keep himself onside. It was because he stopped moving forward.
There's the ball. Portmore on the counter-attack.
Look at this now. Hilton gets it. Yeah. Should have released it. Doesn't.
Here's when I thought he should have.
Beautiful.
He had to wait, George.
Rodney gave up on the pass. I maintain that.
Ritchie. That's Drake with a clearance. Tremaine Stewart can't keep it in. Just a minute of time added on for stoppages, of which only 10 seconds remain. So we're going to have a first half, it seems, without any goals, but not short of action.
Not at all. Intrigue is the word to use to describe this first half that has now come to an end.
That's right, and the ball ends at the feet of Dwayne Ambersley, the Montego Bay United captain, who has been a standout here, having a lot of the ball. Javon East there, the number 15 for Portmore. There's Tremaine Stewart. Portmore not having the game going their way so far. A first half that has seen Montego Bay having a lot of ball possession and coming out with a psychological advantage after 45 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Montego Bay controlling the tempo of the game, setting the agenda in the first half, and they'll be very disappointed they didn't get on the score sheet. That said, Portmore had the best chance of the game. Jovan East from the free kick that wasn't dealt with adequately by Jacobino Barrett, but the striker could only place it into the path of the big goalkeeper who had spread himself at his feet. 0-0 at the half, but Montego Bay have their noses in front, if only on points, Lance.
That's right, and under cloudy skies, but no rain at the moment. A huge battle here for the RSPL 2015-2016 title. Portmore and Montego Bay United. Back in a moment, folks.
Me can't use, me not use 87. Don't need the word, I guess I pick a new level. The car of the answer, no can't need the devil. Pass the day, but him a dancing a evil. We are do the
football Mondays.
Grab your red stripes. Start the game.
Red stripe football Mondays.
Grab your red stripes. Start the game.
First half that saw no goals, but lots of excitement in front of goal for both teams, in particular in front of the Montego Bay United goal. Although from a ball possession standpoint, they have been the team that looked a lot more in control and organized. Portmore, they have to lift themselves. They came in here as the match favorites, but at the moment, Montego Bay look a tough nut to crack heading into the second half.
Yes, indeed, and Portmore United have made a tactical change. Well, what I think is a tactical change. We'll soon tell you who the player is that has been introduced and who has been withdrawn, but they couldn't continue like they were in the first half. Something had to give, something had to change, and Andre Waugh and Jeffrey Hewitt and their team have made some adjustment to the Portmore United 11 that will begin this second half compared to the one which got us on the way shortly after 4 o'clock.
Well, here's a kickoff. Javon East standing over the ball with Stewart, and now Williams has the ball for Portmore. Bravely dribbles between two Montego Bay challenges. Grandison goes wide to Ricketts. Portmore trying to settle themselves here. Yellow card so far for two Portmore players, Philpott and Tremaine Stewart. No yellow cards for Montego Bay yet, and the starting lineup is the same. Well, coming here into the second half.
I was mistaking number 5 for a new player. His kit was so clean, Ryan Wellington, but he's been out there all game soldiering on. So my mistake there. Maybe that's a mark of how well he is defending. He hasn't had to slide on this greasy surface.
Yeah, he has done very, very well at central defense for Portmore so far. There's Rodney looking for some support in the middle. Not getting it at the moment, but he's won a throw.
Well, if there's no personnel change, there has to be a change in approach for the Portmore United team, because they pretty much sleepwalked through that first half. If they do that in the second half, one believes that with the home crowd behind Montego Bay, they will find the impetus to get a goal at least.
Matt Payne with a throw for Montego Bay United. Oh, the Portmore Whites marking up very tightly on the Montego Bay players, not allowing them any room here. Ambersley, man of the first half for Montego Bay. With possession, Matt Payne. Wozencroft, makes a mess of it. The ball slides off his boot. Throw to Portmore deep inside their own half.
Ambersley only marginally ahead of Kenil Curlew in my book, but both have been outstanding for the team in green and blue so far.
Ladale Ritchie. Binns dragged down here by Ambersley. That's a professional foul by the Montego Bay captain.
And Ambersley didn't really have to do that because Binns was running towards 3 defenders. Yes, there was a Portmore man, Tremaine Stewart, peeling off towards the right of the attack, but Binns would have had to do a lot to hook up with him.
Williams tries to go away down the left side here for Portmore and does well. Challenge coming in from Matt Payne, stops him.
Amazingly, Ambersley escaped a yellow card for that, so I mean, he was right in every respect in doing that.
Throw for Portmore deep inside the Montego Bay half. Throw there to Binns, who does well. Grandison, captain of Portmore today. Philpott will drive and goal. Poor effort there from Philpott from distance. Jeffrey Hewitt, the 36-year-old coach of Portmore, who has done extremely well here, enduring a tough season as a newly promoted team, but a hugely successful season. He has his first opportunity here to win a Red Stripe Premier League championship.
When Portmore are playing well, Jeffrey Hewitt is usually the man prowling the technical area. When they're not playing well, Andre Waugh is out there, while Jeffrey Hewitt just sits and stares. And he's in the steering position this afternoon so far in this game. His team not been firing in the manner that he'd have expected them to.
Yeah, that's Javon East fouled by Ritchie. Free kick to Portmore, so Portmore enjoying a lot of the early action here in the second half. Montego Bay, 8 of their players at the moment behind the ball. Wellington, Solomon. Solomon has acres of room here for Portmore. Lots of passing options as well. Philpott to Wellington. Binns. The Montego Bay players backing off and trying to take care of business in their own half and shielding players away from the ball. Rodney tumbles over. from the Grandison challenge. Grandison big and strong. Free kick to Montego Bay. Their captain Ambersley actually leaving it for Ladale Ritchie. Long ball floated forward, looking there for Otti, but Solomon gets there first. Otti sprinting to try to get to the ball, and they've won a throw, Montego Bay.
Otti has been quiet after that near penalty call that he was involved in. Has had a few shots at goal from the outside left position, not really troubling Shaven Sean Paul. It hasn't done much beyond that.
By St. Fleur. Headed away again. Solomon very strong in the air for Portmore. The ball flicked on here to Javon East. There's a Portmore player down injured, but the game goes on as Portmore tries to go forward with East, who is knocked over. And the referee now stops the game to pay some attention to that. Could be Philpott. That's Binns, in fact. Binns up on his feet again. Free kick to Portmore, way over on the right. The lights flickering now at the Montego Bay Sports Complex. They'll come on pretty soon. Overcast conditions, 0-0. 5 minutes into the second half. This has been a gripping RSPL final here. Ambersley, Wozencroft. Hilton sprints forward. Wozencroft takes the return play. Ambersley does well with the ball. St. Fleur comes up in attack. There are 4 Montego Bay players ahead of him. Ambersley tries to slide the ball through towards Rodney, who has a very attacking role in the Montego Bay lineup today. Usually looks more midfield in his role, but has been pushing up a lot in attack for Montego Bay today as they try to solve their problems left by Owain Gordon and Dino Williams not being available to them.
And the fact that he doesn't have that razor-sharp instinct that a striker has betrayed him at least 2 times in this game so far, Ronaldo Rodney. But he's trying his best, not a striker at all. A midfielder, as Lance has said. He's trying to do a job for his team because he has to this afternoon.
Curlew's long ball looking for Wozencroft. Williams gets there first. Morris charged into by McBain. Free kick won by Portmore. McBain, the 30-year-old former Mushet High player, very experienced, former Village player as well. Oh, he goes in there on Morris as if it was a rugby challenge. East does well to put the ball down, looking for the return pass. Ritchie gets there first. And makes the long clearance, but the assistant referee, Richard Washington, has his flag up because he rules that the ball actually rolled up on the line before Ritchie was able to get his clearance up. Grandison. East tries to get there, flicks the ball high. Tremaine Stewart unable to get there before St. Fleur does. Osane Ricketson ensures that the throw remains for Portmore. St. Fleur stretches for the ball and misses. Shot driven on goal directly by Tremaine Stewart, but wide and high.
Yes, and we're getting to that stage of the game where the fans will start grumbling because there's been a lack of goalmouth action overall in the game. Not much to get you off the edge of your seats, enough to have you gripping your seat. The intrigue is deep, as Lance said. Gripping is the good word to use to describe this final, but not much in terms of goal. I don't think Shaven Sean Paul has had a shot to save so far in this game.
We did speak of the impressive statistics with these 2 teams keeping clean sheets. They are very, very solid teams, and so far this season, well, in the regular season, you saw where it wasn't easy to score against these 2 teams when they're at their best, and they have to be at their best because it's a final. This is when they want to put their best show on. So they've done well, either team at the moment, to keep a clean sheet. But this is a play to the finish fixture it is, so at some point tonight the net will be struck if even penalties.
Yes, and we must remind our viewers, Lance, that were it not for injury and other commitments, the two men playing furthest forward for Montego Bay United wouldn't be on the pitch today.
That's right. Wozencroft under some pressure. Throw awarded to Portmore, and Wozencroft isn't pleased. Wozencroft has had several injury issues this season. Missed a lot of the middle part of the season and the early part because of an injury. And then when he came back, got hurt again and missed some of the matches towards the back end of the season. So his opportunity to get a start here in this final isn't a familiar sight for him, being a starter on the Mobe team. And he does look a little short of match sharpness.
Yeah, when he's on his game, he's a magical player, Jermaine Wozencroft.
Great work there by Richie, but Morris wins the ball. Morris drives that goal. Not a good effort there from Ricardo Morris. Well known here in Montego Bay, was a standout for the St. James School team with Alan Otti. They played on the same team then, their opponents now. But of course, the Mobe fans, they're not in his corner today.
A team coached by Theodore Tapper Whitmore.
There's Teagut Davis, coach of the Mobe team at 53 years old, a lot older than the man in charge of Portmore, Jeffrey Hewitt. A really great young mind, Jeffrey Hewitt himself, and Andre Waugh, who's 34 years old. They've shown over the season that their young minds and creativity have proved really beneficial here for Portmore this season. One of the things we have pointed out all season, George, about Portmore is that whenever they make changes, they're usually impact changes.
Yes.
So that shows that's a good sign for the coaching staff and the decision making.
And looking at the players on the bench, well, Dina Williams is half fit, and you take a half fit Dina Williams over many other players. But the player to change this game for Portmore, Malik Foster.
That's Morris trying to get onto the end of the ball. Does well to retrieve it comfortably in the end. Stephen Williams now for Portmore whips the ball dangerously inside. And Matt Payne gets there now, and now Curlew finds Wozencroft. Wozencroft goes forward for Mobe. Slides the ball forward looking for Rodney. But Solomon gets there first and does his usual efficient job of getting the ball away.
And when you play with Owen Gordon one side and Alan Otti the other side, you have pace on both flanks to aim for if you're a midfielder advancing in the way that Wozencroft was just now. But without Gordon and Otti on the other side, didn't have a man who he trusted to chase the ball if he played it in space, Wozencroft.
That's right. Long ball played downfield. Wonder how long it will take Portmore to bring their game changer Malik Foster on. Only 19 years old, Malik Foster. But what a super sub he has been so far this season. There's Wozencroft for Mobe. Mobe on the attack. Wozencroft gets the ball short looking for Curlew. Curlew wasn't anticipating that pass, and it's a wasted effort in the end.
Yes, as you're spot on, Lance. Curlew didn't read the simple pass that Wozencroft was giving him to run onto.
I think Curlew probably thought Wozencroft would have hit the ball inside with the cross. He opted instead to play that short ball looking for Keneal Hyde, who wasn't there at all, and Ryan Wellington did a good job of shielding the ball out. Drake, Morris, Matt Bain gets there. Wozencroft under some pressure. Matt Bain, Richie. Rodney fights hard for the ball. Ball squirts to Grandison, who gets a late challenge here from Ambersley. Free kick to Portmore, fairly high inside the Mobe half.
Clever by Grandison. The pass wasn't on, and Drew ambushed into the tackle, knowing that he'd be fouled by the Mobe skipper.
There is Tremaine Stewart. Slides the ball across there, looking for Osani Ricketts. The ball cleared behind for a corner.
He's a player that hasn't come to the party, Tremaine Stewart. I was just about to remark that himself and the ball have been like perfect strangers over the first 58 minutes of this game.
Tremaine Stewart has had 12 caps for Jamaica, but hasn't really stamped his authority on this Portmore season. There's a second ball on the field, but I'm not seeing Diego Simeone. I wonder who threw that ball out. Corner kick to Portmore. 5 white shirts for Portmore in the box. They're outnumbered by the green shirts of Mobe. Let's see what will happen here. Approaching the hour mark. Ricardo Morris, who is a game changer for Portmore, whips the corner in right dangerously, but a little bit too much weight on it, and goes behind for a goal kick to Montego Bay. So Morris getting a bit of hassle from the fans here. A former Montego Bay player himself, a couple of seasons for Montego Bay United, Ricardo Morris, before moving to Portmore.
And fans are intelligent. They're not booing him because he's a crap player. They're booing him because they know he's a very good player who can turn it on at any time. So they're trying to demoralize him to keep him down. That was disappointing, though. You had 4 men towards the near post, and the corner went to the back stick where nobody was. And this game needs something now, lads.
Yes, it really does. Wozencroft tries to get Rodney going. Oh, Wellington does well to shield the ball away from him. Wellington's long clearance upfield. Richie right there to Wozencroft, who is under pressure, challenged by Williams. And I think there is a free kick being awarded. And Wozencroft, I think, hurt from the Williams challenge. You wonder every time you see Wozencroft cringe, because so far this season he has been so much of an injury-prone player.
Yeah.
There he is with some kinesio tape there on that left knee as well. Wasted play there for Montego Bay.
Someone needs to come on and change this game. There's Dino Williams. Could he be the man? He's being tended to by the personal trainer, getting him through his paces. Montego Bay needs him. The game needs him. So too Malik Foster, who's now been sent to warm up by the Portmore. Well, that's actually, well, yes, Foster has just come off the Portmore bench, so he's been sent to warm up. We may see him soon.
Javon East appeals for a foul, doesn't get it. And East isn't very happy. He thinks that the referee didn't spot the push on him from Ladale Ritchie, who's been a real standout here for Montego Bay.
Rodian Jennings also warming up for Portmore United, another option in attack.
Long kick over there to St. Fleur. St. Fleur has some room inside to Ambersley. Ambersley looking for passing options, gets it back to St. Fleur. No forward passes available now for Montego Bay. They have to knock the ball around in their own half. McBain. Curlew. Ritchie. Long kick being chased here by Corey Hilton. Oh, fine save by Sean Paul. Here's Wozencroft. Goal! Montego Bay United sending their fans into ecstasy. Jermaine Wozencroft, his 4th goal of the season. Montego Bay are in front, and Portmore's goalkeeper, Shaven Sean Paul, is hurt. Portmore's chances are hurt.
Wow! Calamity for Portmore United. The mistakes all around, the blame to be shared, but the bulk of the blame has to go to the goalkeeper. What was Shaven Sean Paul doing on that passage of play? I thought Corey Hilton, Lance, was going to go first time over the advancing goalkeeper's head. Didn't do that, and then Shaven Sean Paul came, didn't gather. Shades of Dane Hyatt in the Arnett Gardens goal in their semi-final defeat by Montego Bay United. The Shaven Sean Paul comes, doesn't gather. How cool was the finish though? Absolutely. Mistake. High school. The coolest man in the building was Jermaine Wozencroft. The calmest man in St. James. Takes a touch, looks up, and does the rest. Beautiful goal.
Really outstanding strike there from Jermaine Wozencroft. Composure and real quality. He had a quick glance to his left to see if there was a passing option. He saw Ronald Rodney, but he said to himself, you know what? An open goal is in front of me. I have class, I have quality. I'll take it myself.
Absolutely intelligent, and just as you'd expect from a player of Jermaine Wozencroft's class. Just when the game was crying out for something, Wozencroft applies it. It's 1-0 to Montego Bay United, and it's everything to play for. Portmore must change their approach to the game now.
You know, Montego Bay appear as if they're getting ready to bring Dino Williams on. I wonder about that change. Williams has been missing for about a month now with a hamstring injury. He may be fit enough to return, but in a final like this, I'm pretty certain he's not 100%. In fact, I would probably think he's about 70%. Kashif Brown, who is also a player that plays a super sub role for Montego Bay, for my money, could be the better bet. 7,253 the attendance here, and Montego Bay United enjoying the advantage in this RSPL final as they seek their 2nd championship win in 3 years. players.
Yes, indeed. So many players lost their heads on that passage of play. But the man with the ball at his feet, Jermaine Wozencroft, the coolest man in the parish, had the audacity and the skill to take a touch, look for a passing option, pass up that option, and then find the net with a lovely strike with the inside of his right foot. Mabé deservedly in front.
So Portmore's character about to be tested here in the island's second city on the Montego Bay north coast. Wow, good pass inside to Binns. Binns has a chance to shoot. He whistle.
Handball.
Was he offside or a handball? Appeared as if he took it well there with a touch, but apparently a handball there from Binns. Here's the play now.
Clearly, handball. Yeah. The sleeve, the shirt sleeve, Lance. He acknowledges it was a good call because he knows he transgressed.
Free kick to Mobe. Jacomino Barrett, big, strong goalkeeper who had some duties in the Trinidad and Tobago Pro League as well for Joe Public. TNT, of course, enjoying a tremendous Sunday here with two of their teams, Central FC and W Connection, facing off in the CFU Club Championship final in Haiti. 52% ball possession for Portmore. So since the start of the second half, Portmore have had more of the ball, but it's Mobe that are leading the match.
But it's a classic case of having the ball in defensive positions and not moving it quickly. That's why the possession stat is in Portmore's favor. We've spoken a lot about the goal, lads. One of the things we haven't spoken about is the pass from the back that created the confusion. It was a lovely ball from out of the Mobe United defense, bypassing the midfield. That caused all the problems. And how cool was Jermaine Wozencroft?
And we were just talking about how much more of an impact Wozencroft could have made if he was match fit, having suffered with injuries so far this season. But that was a quality finish. Not a difficult goal to score because the goalkeeper was badly out of... The goalkeeper was already beaten. He only needed to steer it into the goal, but he still took it with a plumb.
I think it was difficult from the perspective of he was being closed down. A lot of things were happening to him. There were other players calling for the ball.
Tremaine Stewart tries to turn his man here under a lot of pressure. Portmore missing an opportunity there as
they're going to make a double change.
Gets the ball out.
They're going to make a double change. Rodane Jennings, number 26, and number 10, Malik Foster, are coming in for Portmore.
No, every match that I've seen Malik Foster come on as a substitute, he has changed the game and made colossal, I say colossal, I don't mean just impact, colossal impact on the game. They need that from him tonight.
The only game he didn't make that impact was in the first leg semi-final against Humble Lion on a slippery, really awful pitch.
Yes, at Effortville.
Absolutely so. But beyond that, he's been the totem, a totemic presence when he's been introduced from the bench.
Yeah, and the big man Rodane Jennings is also coming on as well. So Jennings is coming on and he replaces Javon East. So East, the leading goal scorer for Portmore with 10 strikes, is out of the game and his championship season is over.
Yeah, disappointing end to the season for him. Promised so much but had an untimely injury. And experienced players have difficulties getting back from injury, least of all a young player.
Yes. Only 21 years old,
yeah,
Javon East.
Doesn't really understand his body just yet at this level. And was never able to recapture that form, Lance.
Here is Portmore. Their pace will have to increase now because they are behind and chasing the game. Binns a little bit too much weight on that pass, looking for Stephen Williams.
And Dino Williams is now set to be introduced, as you said, Lance.
So Dino Williams is coming on here for Mobe. And let's see how much he'll be able to offer to this team. Portmore now faced with a difficult task here of getting back. That Wozencroft goal was only the second goal that Mobe has scored against Portmore in 3 meetings so far this year. Remember, Portmore have beaten Mobe United all 3 times that they have met so far this season. 2-0 at the start of the season, 1-0 in November, and 3-1 back in March.
And listen to the cheers go up because number 45, not Michael Jordan, but Dino Williams is coming in.
And Dino Williams is replacing Ronaldo Romney. So Dino Williams gets some playing time, and the fans are ecstatic here. Ball cleared away by Portmore. Dino Williams, former Green Pond player, formerly of Village, 23 years old, coming on and trying to make an impact here late in the game.
And Lance, I'm still going to extract some more credit for Jermaine Wozencroft's goal from you, because you said it wasn't a difficult finish, but he was being closed down. Players were calling him to his right and his left. He had the audacity to take a touch before firing in. There were players also retreating to the goal line. I schooled by Wozencroft. I think it's a better goal than you're giving him credit for.
It's a quality strike, but... But the goalkeeper wasn't there.
True.
Ball cleared away by Solomon. A really, really outstanding. He would definitely make my All-Star RSPL season 2015-2016.
He has to.
Damana Solomon at central defense for Portmore.
And in partnership with Ladale Ritchie, the man guarding the defense for Montego Bay United. Those two have been the outstanding central defenders this season in my book.
Teagat Davis, 20 minutes away from winning his first Premier League title as a coach. He would have won before in 1987 with Seba, when the team was then Seba as a player.
Beating Boys Town in the final.
Yes, he would have. I think when they won their second title in 1997, Teagat Davis was just about closing on the end of his career, but he still, I think, may have been a part of that Seba 1997 championship winning team.
Beat Arnett Gardens, yes.
But his first opportunity here, Teagat Davis, to win as a coach. There's Matt Bain, one of the players he will rely on to defend this 1-0 advantage well. Matt Bain playing in the right full-back position. There's forward fresh legs on for Portmore that will make Matt Bain's job a little bit more difficult, as will be the job of Ladale Ritchie, Kimar Drake and Leslie St. Fleur.
But the approach, Lance, I'm still on the approach of Portmore United towards this game. When we saw them in that 3-1 win over Montego Bay United.
Montego Bay trying to get the ball out of their danger zone, and Ladale Ritchie, a tower of strength. Binns fouled by Ambersley for about the 6th time in the game.
Yes, indeed. Was making the point that when we saw Montego Bay United being beaten 3-1 by Portmore, Matt Bain was given a torrid time by the Portmore wide men. Not this afternoon.
Yeah, he has done really, really well here. And I did suggest before the game started that if Montego Bay were unable to stop Ricardo Morris, they would lose. They have done a fairly good job so far in this match of preventing Ricardo Morris from shining.
Yes, indeed.
Ambersley goes up for the header and misses it. Jennings, Foster to Jennings. The two substitutes combining for Portmore. Oh, the ball scrambles around in the penalty area. Now it comes out. Binns will probably strike it from here. What a goal! Michael Binns scores a tremendous shot. That's an unbelievable strike from 35 yards from Michael Binns. Giacomino Bard had no chance, and Portmore are back in business. What a strike!
Well, we have voted the goal of the season already, Lance. I'm suggesting we've been premature, because that goal by Michael Binns has to be the cleanest, the purest strike we've seen all season, and it coming in a championship game, there's nothing that can beat it. He picked it up in no man's land. That's not a zone on the field that you're supposed to strike from, and Giacomino Bard saw it for miles, but he could do nothing about it. He needed another arm to get anywhere near it. It was beautiful by Michael Binns. It was violent. It was deadly. It's the equalizer.
You could almost sense, because of his confidence in his strikes from distance, that he would have probably struck it, and he did. And what a strike that was. Bart went for it and couldn't touch it. It's 1-1 between Portmore and Montego Bay United, and Portmore's resilience in evidence here at the Montego Bay Bay Sports Complex.
That was an exocet, flying beyond the grasp. And Binns dives. And why not, son? He was the best player for Portmore United in that second leg semi-final win over Humberland. Scored 2 goals and was involved in everything. And he has come up trumps with the equalizer in this game.
Well, the Mobe fans here would have been stunned by that strike. And Portmore's confidence lifted now heading into the final 15 minutes.
Well, on the run of play, Lance, on the run of play, you couldn't see them scoring a goal. But how many times in football have we've seen a moment of genius, a moment of supreme quality? That was that moment of supreme quality for Portmore. They needed that badly in this game. They've only now come to the party, courtesy of Michael Binns, their Bison, their Colossus. That's him, number 21. Carries so much on his powerful shoulders. What a strike. Jovan East will have to move over. This man has just given us the goal of the season so far.
That was his 6th goal of the season. Michael Binns, the former Glenmuir man, 27 years old now. And I am not sure that he would have struck a more satisfying goal in his career, especially if it leads Portmore to the championship this evening.
Wow. That's the kind of shot where you still feel it in your boot 2 weeks after. That was sweetly struck. It bent just at the end because Jacobino Barrett seemed to have been getting there, Lance. But then all of a sudden, he wasn't in the same parish as the shot.
He went for it, but he couldn't touch it. So Portmore, answering the question I asked 10 minutes ago about their resilience and their mettle for the championship title. They are not going to go down without a fight. Shots on target in the second half, 1 each from both teams.
Clash of heads over there on the far side.
Very, very painful. That's Corey Hilton for Mobe. And I think that could be Osani Ricketts, is it? For Portmore.
There are times when the body needs an elixir. And Michael Binns has not just given the Portmore body collective an elixir, he's applied it intravenously directly into the bloodstream. What a shot and what a moment. Let's look at it again. Ball played in, cleared by the defender, Richie. Touched on by Grandison. One touch. Look at the bend at the last minute. Wow. Well, not even last minute, last millisecond.
Michael Binns, MVP of their semi-final
Absolutely.
win, comes here in the final, carries his form over. Missed part of the season with some injuries, Michael Binns, but since his return has been able to make a huge impact here for Portmore. Ambersley loses possession of the ball. Matt Bain with a forceful pass forward looking for Otti, but Otti's legs now looking as if they're about to go. Doesn't have the energy to chase.
And that's a criticism I've had of Otti every time I've seen him this season. Always disappears for large stretches of matches. Still a young player will learn to keep in touch.
Dino Williams tries to turn with the ball, unable to do so. Matt Bain under pressure.
Should have gone back to Drake in that central defensive position. Matt Bain, wrong option from the right back.
Yeah, Ladale Ritchie unable to keep the ball in. Ritchie has had a very, very outstanding game at central defense for Montego Bay United tonight. But with just 12 minutes remaining in normal time, plus time added on for stoppages, the game is locked at 1-1. Jenny, that's Osani Ricketts with a cross, poor cross. Goes behind for a goal kick to Mo Bay.
Rodian Jennings, a different forward man, front man to Jovan East. Plays well with his back to goal. Better than East with his back to goal adventure. But East, the purer striker and the quicker over ground. Jennings will hold up the ball and bring others into play. And that's the option that Jeffrey Hewitt has gone for late in this contest.
The game locked in an intense position now. Curlew, angry at the challenge on him by Jennings. Free kick to Mobe. High inside their own half. So the game locked. And Mobe and Portmore may have now to go into extra time play if neither of them can find a winner now at this stage. Corey Hilton. Dino Williams with a back heel with a shot on goal. Dino Williams! Goal number 16 for the super sub. Montego Bay United back in front 2-1 in front of their home fans. And could that be the championship decider?
That's pure quality. That's just pure quality. It was a back heel that went wrong. And he reacted very quickly to size up the opportunity and then seize it. A low drive to the right of Shave and Sean Paul. Beyond the goalkeeper's despairing dive, that's the man. Has been less than potent in this season, in the latter part of the season, undermined by injured Dino Williams. But oh, how he returned to his old ways on this passage of play. Look at this long ball. Manning's pass. Back heel goes wrong. Bang!
Wow. Well, that's an illustration of putting right something that went wrong. Dino Williams strikes a go-ahead goal for Mobe in the final. This man scored 3 goals in the 2014 final when they beat Waterhouse by 5 goals to 2, and he comes up with an important strike in the 2016 final.
That 5-2 win over Waterhouse, it was one of the best displays of striking I've ever seen here in the local top flight. Dino Williams that afternoon. He was unplayable in that 5-2 win over Waterhouse. And you may wonder, if you've just joined the broadcast, where was this man earlier? He was unfit. Well, he is unfit. And only good enough to play off the bench, to start on the bench. But he showed his quality there.
A flurry of excitement in the stands as a Mobe fans enjoy a moment to savor. Wozencroft, though, is leaving the field, apparently very, very badly hurt, grimacing in pain.
Looks like a shoulder injury. Well, or a thigh injury. Looks like the left thigh is the problem area for the heavily bandaged Wozencroft. Almost looking like a racehorse in low claiming the amount of bandages he's wearing. And number 9 goes on for him. That's Fabian McCarthy.
So Fabian McCarthy goes on in a midfield position to try to shore up the position for Mobe. Foul on the danger man Binns. Mobe know that they can't give Binns any opportunity to see the goal.
Yes,
he only
indeed.
has to see the goal to hit the goal.
Only has to see it, and now you'll be able to see. You'll see Drake, especially paying very close attention to Binns wherever he runs in this midfield. Mobe don't want to throw away the lead again.
Oh, they've given the ball away. Grandison, the captain, and now the substitute gets his first touch on the ball. McCarthy. Wellington lobs the ball back upfield. Ladale Ritchie comes climbing high with the ball. Ambersley sends the ball forward here. That's Otti. Otti's cross inside is not good. Too close to the goalkeeper. Holds up the apologetic arm to Dino Williams. Otti challenges Binns for the ball. Binns comfortable on the ball. Long ball by Binns looking for Malik Foster. Foster, even though he went to a former champion of schools track and field, Jamaica College, isn't fast enough to get to that one.
Yeah, the greasy surface didn't help him, but that man is in agony. A Jermaine Wozencroft, who's really put in a 5-star performance this afternoon. Of course, crowned by that goal that gave Mobe the lead. But looks to be a shoulder injury, looks to be a thigh injury, a stomach injury. He's in agony, Jermaine Wozencroft.
Well, he's in just as much agony as the Montego Bay fans are in ecstasy, because at the moment they're about 6 minutes away from the championship title if they can hold off Portmore. We have 6 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here, and Jacomina Barrett, the big goalkeeper, there is the Wozencroft goal. Looked up, saw a fairly empty goal. There were players around that caused him a little bit of distraction, but he kept his composure and just side-footed the ball calmly into the back of the net. A quality-taken goal by Jermaine Wozencroft. But at the moment, he's not thinking about that. He's in pain.
Time running out for Portmore.
And Barrett, he just had his boot taken off and put them back on. Not too sure what that was about. No, Moby will have to be careful about this time wasting. We've seen so many times when you employ a time wasting approach and then you invite pressure on yourself. I think it happened to Moby when they went ahead against Arden Garns in the semi-final. Dino Williams putting pressure on. Has been under intense medical care, Dino Williams, in the past 3 weeks, trying to get himself fit for a moment like this.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Real big occasion performer. Sinclair gets a big boot onto the ball. There goes Otti chasing the ball.
He would have been offside
Sean
anyway.
Paul gets there before him. Matt Bain, Foster tries to get by Richie. Richie gives up a throw. Portmore with a throw. Portmore still fighting hard. The game not over yet. Over 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Rodian Jennings slips the ball inside, looking for Malik Foster. Doesn't get to him. Curlew gets the boot onto the ball. The skillful one with the ball at the moment. Binns to Ellington. Solomon has his captain Grandison in the premises. Ups to go long down the left side. Matt Bain gets there first, makes the clearance. And a late challenge on Matt Bain, who goes down with an injury. Free kick to Portmore. This game still open, folks. Portmore has shown their resilience. They've already come back once in the game, and they will try to do that again. Matt Bain down hurt, getting some medical attention now as the clock ticks away.
I think this is a part of, not saying he's not hurt, but this is part of game management by Mobe United. They're slowing the tempo down, trying to suck any rhythm, any momentum that Portmore would look to build as they seek to claw back a second deficit.
Binns across to Solomon. All 10 Portmore players now in the Mobe half. Malik Foster turns, no, that's Rodian Jennings turns, but doesn't get a good cross in, and Barrett holds on to it easily. Montego Bay, 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time, away from their 4th RSPL title and 2nd in 3 years. Can they achieve it? Portmore wanting to stop them. Portmore, they haven't been champions, Portmore, since 2012. Were relegated a couple of seasons, but after that, shot on goal by Corey Hilton. Neat pass inside by Dino Williams, and he calculated, measured the pass, waited until Corey Hilton came in there, and Hilton wasn't able to put it away well, but that was a very neat pass from Dino Williams.
A poor technical finish by Hilton. He closed his foot on it too much and sent it high from his body position that was always favoring him, sending it too high.
Tumbles over from the Osani Ricketts challenge.
That's a very good piece of play by the Bahamian. Look how far he has advanced the ball into Portmore territory. They'll be taking forever to take this free kick.
Portmore United on the defensive. McCarthy with a shot on goal. Straight to shaving Sean Paul. Preparing to, well, he underarms the ball out now to Damona Solomon. Solomon has acres of room. Grandison forcing play up here towards Tremaine. There goes Malik Foster into the box. Can he get across inside? He does, but Barrett is there first.
I tell you what, good defending by Drake, because although he was beaten for pace, his presence prevented Foster from putting the cross in earlier. Did just enough Drake to make it difficult for Foster, and in the end, he could only find the arms of the goalkeeper, the Portmore substitute.
Well taken by Otti there over on the right. Mobe on the attack. Williams, that's McCarthy under pressure. Grandison gets there. Tremaine Williams is tripped. Williams with a long diagonal pass looking for Malik Foster, but it doesn't get to him. And Ambusley, the Mobe captain, now goes down seemingly with cramps. He'll be okay. Game is about to restart. Folks, we're on full time in a few seconds. Time to be added on for stoppages.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. So Portmore have 4 minutes to score and deny Mobe of the title. Ball robbed on the touchline. McCarthy, Hilton. Goal comes wide here towards Alan Otti. Otti will dribble towards the corner flag to kill some time. That he does. Tries to flick the ball inside and does. Dino Williams puts the chase on. Williams does well. Otti fails to keep the ball in. And Portmore are trying to get away now through Binns. Binns to Tremaine Stewart. They lose the ball. McCarthy taking time. Otti, McCarthy. McCarthy dribbles forward. McCarthy slides the ball forward towards Dino Williams. Dino Williams has a chance to shoot. Doesn't get the shot off. And Solomon puts enough pressure on him. But that looked to have been a great chance for Mobe to seal the game. But Williams just wasn't able to get the shot off.
Corey Hilton was begging him for the pass to his left. And poor old, look at that. Oh my goodness. Made a meal of it.
Otti to McCarthy. McCarthy. Ball trying to go through. Portmore forcing the ball upfield. Ladale Ritchie putting the chase on. Oh, Ritchie does well there. Ladale Ritchie. Now he spoils it by playing the ball out for a throw. A minute and a half of the 4 minutes added on for stoppages expiring so far. Binns with room. Oh, the deflection. Drake gets the clearance upfield. Morris flicks the ball on. Drake gets the ball further upfield. Mobe's Ritchie down hurt.
Lance, our man of the match has to be Dwayne Ambusley, the Mobe skipper, number 25. Along with Curlew, yes, Dino Williams has scored the match-winning goal, but the work that went before that, you have to give credit to the work, the solid work, the base that allowed Montego Bay United to be in this position. And I'd go for the skipper.
Well, it's a huge call here. Oh, boy. You know, Ambusley, you know, Ladale Rich's outstanding central defensive work cannot be underestimated as well.
But Ambusley has been good in attack as well as defense. And that's the point. He's been everywhere. Ritchie has defended outstandingly well.
Grandison forcing the ball forward. There goes Morris. Oh, that was a corner here. One here by Morris. So Portmore having a corner in the dying moments here. Dying moments here. So Portmore having a chance to sneak an equalizing goal that could send the RSPL final into extra time. All 10 Portmore players, outfield players in the Mobe half. But the corner kick is overhit and goes behind. That may be it, because we have 30 seconds remaining here, and Mobe have the kickoff, which they will not hurry to take. And you have to think
indeed. Jacobina Barrett taking forever, as is his right, to spot that ball. Dino Williams asking the crowd for more energy. I don't know if they have more to give. They've given everything and then some.
What a final this has been in Montego Bay. Mobe, this kick out will happen after the 4 minutes of time added on expires, and referee Legister will blow the whistle pretty soon for the end of the game. Portmore forcing the ball forward. Ambersley, there is the final whistle. Montego Bay United, champions of the Red Stripe Premier League for 2015-2016. What a courageous effort by the Mobe boys. They have beaten Portmore only once in the last 12 meetings before this, but they've come here today eager and purposeful, and they have lowered the colors of the league champions to become champions themselves for the second time in 3 years. Congrats to Mobe United.
Yes, indeed, Montego Bay United channeling their inner devil this afternoon into this victory. They'll tell you it's more than winning a football match. It's beating the odds. It's beating those who they feel are against the club as an institution. It's beating those they believe are against their owner, Orville Powell. It's beating a system they believe is rigged against them. The fans here are happy because they've seen Mobe win a football match. It's absolutely wonderful. For the men from St. James, she's unhappy. Those in white and red will want to forget this afternoon. But Montego Bay United are champions of the 2015-2016 Premier League. And based on the run of play, they absolutely deserve it. They came late. We started when they wanted us to start, and we finished the way they wanted us to finish, with them as champions. Tears among the Portmore United players. They're crestfallen, but Montego Bay United are exultant. They're painting Montego Bay green, blue, and white, along with red this afternoon. At the end of 90 minutes, Montego Bay United 2, Portmore United 1, the champions, the kingpins of the 15-16 RSPL, Montego Bay United, we send it to the break.
This is a football matchup we've all been waiting for. We're only seconds from kickoff. Welcome to everyone watching here with us.
Oh yes, but there seems to be a problem. We can't start the game just yet.
Yes, we are still waiting. Not sure for how much longer.
Well, we can't wait any longer.
Dave. What's the hold up, man? We want to start the game.
We have kickoff.
And it's a goal! Grab a red stripe. Start the game. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the Montego Bay, the Catherine Hall Sports Complex here in Montego Bay, St. James. A moment to catch your breath, because a lot has happened over the preceding hour and a half. This game had everything. It had moments of intrigue. Then this long pass from the back. Confusion. Shaven Sean Paul doesn't do well. Jermaine Wozencroft, the calmest man in the parish, ice in his veins, takes a touch, picks his spot. 1-0 Mobe. And the fans reacted as Wozencroft causes Mobe's nose to go in front in this race for the 2015-16 championship. Then this ball played inside will be clear, but look at this for a strike. Grandison will touch it on, and then I just let Michael Binns do the rest. Absolutely creamed that shot from more than 35 yards out. Michael Binns finds the top corner of Jacobina Barrett's goal and goes for a dive in his backyard pool. And then this. Dino Williams goes from the back heel, doesn't work. He shoots it anyway and gets it beyond the Shaven Sean Paul. Messed up his original option, Dino Williams, but the second option was even better. A strike low and hard. Shaven Sean Paul could not get down fast enough And that's how Mobe won the Red Stripe Premier League title for 2015-16. Their leading scorer, their second leading scorer this season, Dino Williams, whose campaign has been hampered by injury, comes good at the big time. Big players for big moments. No bigger moment in local football than this competition. And no bigger player this afternoon than Dino Williams. Montego Bay United control the ball for 53%. Fouls committed 13. Goal attempts 7 from Montego Bay, 7 from Portmore. 3 on target for Mobe, 5 on target for Portmore. Lance Whitaker is with our man of the match. Oh, Danique is at pitch side.
All right, guys, of course, I am here with the man of the match, one of the most exciting times after the match. Now, of course, this is Ambersley. Ambersley is no stranger to man of the match. Listen, well-deserved. First of all, let me just hand you your trophy on behalf of Sportsmax. Congratulations, Ambersley. How does it feel, winners of the Red Stripe Premier League 2015-2016?
Winners of the Premier League one more time. I'm very happy right now. Words can't explain how I'm feeling.
All right, so talk to me. What was going through your mind during the match? The first half wasn't so good, but then you guys came back in the second half with a vengeance.
I tell my team this morning in a team meeting, so watch. Farm is temporary, class is permanent. So we just know that we have to go out there because we have the class and the farm and the quality to go out there and execute. So we know we have to go out there and just perform to the best of our ability. And once we perform to the best of our ability, everything will be okay.
And that's what you did, Ambassador. I'm so proud of you. Montego Bay United, winners, champions of the RSPL League. Now listen, I have also with me Moses Williams, who is the commercial director of Red Stripe. He's here to present to you your very own shirt from Red Stripe. And of course, the beautiful Red Stripe girl, giving you a Red Stripe, a 1 liter bottle of Red Stripe for yourself. All right, guys, man of the match, Ambersley. Lance, what's happening over there with you?
Okay, thank you very much, Danique. And we're with Dino Williams, the man who scored the winning goal. Dino, it was a very tough job to select the man of the match. And your captain, Ambersley, got it. But your goal was the goal that decided the final. How do you feel about the impact that you were able to make coming on as a substitute?
Well, you know, it's a very good feeling. Every time as a striker, as you come on the park, you know, you always want to score. And I think for the last 3 to 4 weeks was a work week for me. I've been suffering with a hamstring injury. And to come out here today and score the winning goal, you know, it's a good feeling.
We know that you haven't been 100% fit. You haven't played a game now in several weeks because of a hamstring injury. How fit are you? What percentage fitness would you give yourself? 60%, 70%, 80%?
No, I think about 65 to 70%. Actually, I think it was a very rough selection for the coaching staff and the management. Well, I go ahead and I pull off it. Well, you know, when you have faith in yourself and you know that you can do the job, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, and finally, just talk us through that goal, because you were trying to backheel the ball. It didn't come up, but you reacted well and then scored the goal. What went through your mind?
Well, I tried to pass, and the pass didn't come off. So when I see the ball in my stride, I said, so what? Just go ahead and hit it. And I get a good, solid connection, and it went in.
Congratulations, Dino Williams.
Thanks.
Okay, so Dino Williams, a man that has been an outstanding striker for the Montego Bay United team. They have, he scored 3 times. He scored 3 times when they won the championship back in 2014 against Waterhouse by 5 goals to 2. Jeffrey Hewitt, Portmore, had a tremendous season. You faltered at the final hurdle. What went wrong for your team today?
It was just a matter of today. I thought that the Montego Bay team came out and they had a point to prove, and they really executed from the first half. They got us on the back foot. We came out a bit flat, but in the second stanza of the game, the second half, we definitely stepped up our game, but it was just not to be today. A brilliant goal. It's worthy of winning a game, and yet they still managed to find a winner.
I was about to ask you that when Bin scored that goal, it lifted the Portmore team, and we could really see Portmore being lifted to rally in the game. Are you disappointed that you didn't make more out of the last part of the game?
Yes, in a sense, because with time going against us, we should have been a little bit more disciplined at the back of the field. But it's the nature of the game. There are still young players trying to learn their craft, and we just continue to work with them. I just want to say congrats to Montego Bay United, and also to all the staff at Portmore United, the management and the exec who made this possible. Big thank you to everybody. Okay, MG, big up.
All right, thank you very much, Jeffrey. We know you're disappointed, but congratulations on a fine season. You almost won your first Red Stripe Premier League title as a coach. Maybe next year.
Well, almost. That's almost. Thanks much. All right.
Okay, that's Jeffrey Hewitt. Jeffrey Hewitt, coach of the Portmore team coming up here against the Montego Bay team that, as you heard him say, looked as if they wanted it really, really badly. Paul Teagat-Davis, winning coach for Montego Bay United. You played on the Montego Bay United team, formerly SEBA, that won the Premier League team title back in the 1980s. What's going through your mind at the moment, your first triumph as a coach in RSPL?
You know, today I had a SEBA picture when you just won the Premier League, and I look at it and remind me of today, you know. Believe me, I know we couldn't have lost. Even if we went down to the penalties, we couldn't have lost. But today I told the guys, let's beat these guys in 90 minutes. No, we put them 3 times, and they have never been behind 1 time. So we said, let's see how them play when they come from behind. They play open, normal team.
Now, in the past 5 years, Portmore and Montego Bay United have met 12 times, and Mobe has only won 1 of those titles. Portmore felt as if they had the formula to beat Montego Bay United. How did you respond to that, and how did you prepare your team to beat a team that usually beats you?
You remember, I spoke to you, I think, on 3 occasions when I lost 3 times. What I told you, say?
That Mobe would win the title.
And when it matters most, and that said it all.
Teagat
matters most.
When it matters most. Well, you did it against Arnett Gardens because you hadn't beaten them all season, but then you beat them in the semi-finals.
When it matters most. You know, this team, as I told Jamaica, I have the best set of youths in Jamaica, the best team. They prove it tonight. When people doubted us, when we beat Arnett Gardens, a lot of reporters, a lot of people in Jamaica said, hey, we still couldn't win. It's Portmore. We prove it. We have the 2 leading goal scorers in Jamaica. So why we couldn't win Premier League? Stupidity. This is real football. Mobility to the world.
Thank you very much, Paul Teagat-Davis. Teagat-Davis, he is the coach of the winning Montego Bay United team, had been telling us towards the back end of the regular season that he was confident that Mobe would win the title regardless of the obstacles that stood in his way. And we just heard from a man, George, who is thrilled, satisfied that his team has delivered when it mattered most, to use his words.
Absolutely. The result is also a coaching triumph, because we must not forget that there was some turmoil in the Montego Bay United coaching setup this season, because the Brazilian they brought in didn't really get to fly because of the immigration issues, and Teagat-Davis didn't take it from the start, but took it at a time when it was a delicate time in the season, but he kept them on the up. He consistently told you that his team would take care of matters at the business end. He took care of Arnett Gardens at the business end, and come here today. We've seen Portmore United play Montego Bay over the course of the season and hustle and harry them. Today they didn't get to do that. Montego Bay United controlled the game from the first minute. The game was played at their pace. The substitutions were made at strategic points. And how much of a genius does Teagat-Davis and Dylan Telwell look for bringing on Dino Williams when they did, and for him to strike the winner?
Okay, so he has decided, or he has declared, that he's only 65% fit because of a hamstring injury, Dino Williams. But he has come up with a winning goal tonight that makes Montego Bay celebrate the RSPL title for the 2nd time in 3 years. Let's go to the presentation. So, chaos here on the infield at the Montego Bay Sports Complex as hundreds of fans have come onto the field to celebrate with their team. And George, you've been in sports for a long, long time, and you know that victory is sometimes even sweeter when you're an underdog. Most people expected Portmore to win this final today, and I think that has made the victory for Montego Bay even sweeter.
Yes, indeed. It's a triumph for a lot of things. They came here, you wondered, Lance, you asked, how would the protest affect Portmore? Well, I gave you 2 scenarios, and it was scenario 2 that was in effect here. The team was catalyzed by the issues of the field. They were energized by the politics surrounding the performance. And as the confetti flows, Montego Bay United are soaring. They are the champions. Portmore United beaten. They'll have to come again next year.
Yes, so Portmore regular season champions, but we have said all during the semis and the final here that Mobe in the regular season scored the most goals and conceded fewest goals. They also kept the most clean sheets. So there were statistics that suggested that Mobe could also claim to being the best team in the championship. And right now, that's exactly how they feel, the best.
Absolutely. The leadership in this team, there's leadership right throughout. That man with the trophy, the skipper, Ambosley, is a born leader. The team responds to him. In goal, they have a man who the team responds to, Jacomino Barrett. And they have the wild card talent, the mercurial talent of Owen Gordon, who wasn't here to share this triumph. But this win owes as much to what he has done over the course of the season as any player. And then Dino Williams, you thought he had died as a striker, but his rebirth was today in front of the watching thousands, hundreds of thousands, and almost 8,000 persons here inside the Captain Hall Sports Complex.
So the captain, Ambosley, just receiving the Red Stripe Premier League trophy from Ricardo Nuncio of Red Stripe, and the Mobe fans, all of them on the field trying to get a hold of the trophy. At least they want to touch it. They want to see what it feels like, because they were disappointed that they weren't able to repeat as champions last year when Arnett Garns beat them by 2-0 in the final. But all that is behind them now. It's all celebration here, and Montego Bay United have made a huge statement here in the second city.
And like a policeman, the goalkeeper Jacomino Barrett has arrested the trophy and kept some hands off it. He wants some time to spend with the trophy. Look, it's been a remarkable season for Montego Bay United. As you talk about statistics, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. This is the best team over the course of the season in terms of attacking wise. They're also the best team defensively. Portmore United beat them to the prize that is awarded to the winner of the preliminary round, but they didn't start the season looking to win the preliminary round. They started the season looking to win the championship, and they are champions.
And you know, George, I have to say kudos here to Dino Williams. When he was warming up to come on during the commentary, I did suggest that the coaching staff would probably rethink that, because we know that he isn't 100% fit to come into a final like that. He rated himself as 65% fit. That's a pretty low rating to play in a final.
Absolutely. Danique is with Jacomino Barrett on the infield.
All right, guys, Montego Bay United winners of the RSPL 2015-2016 league. I am here surrounded by none other than the players and, of course, Jacomino Barrett. Jaco, how was this match today?
It was good. It was really great.
I mean, it's been said by many people that you are undoubtedly one of the best goalkeepers of all time. How does that make you feel?
Great, yeah, it's goalkeeper of the year 3 times straight.
All right.
So it have to be something, right?
Definitely, and you're worth every penny.
All right, guys. Everybody see it and appreciate it. That's it.
I promise you, they see it. Guys, this is Sportsmax TV. I'm your girl, Danique, the champions. Montego Bay United, RSPL, Red Stripe Premier League, the champions. Montego Bay United FC.
So we are here at the Captain Hall Sports Complex. Montego Bay United winning their 4th Red Stripe Premier League, well, their 4th Premier League title. Of course, Red Stripe is the team doing the business at this juncture, and they have won now 4 finals. They've lost 5, and their record has improved. Portmore United, it was a valiant effort. This is not the moment where you normally talk about the losers, but their season was an outstanding season, and they just came up short today, Lance.
Yes, we have to give credit to the Portmore effort here this season, because they were a team just promoted after a wretched 2013-2014 season, re-entering the top flight, and made a really brave bid at the title. Certainly when Michael Bin scored that stunning goal in the second half, we thought that that was a platform that Portmore could come back with. But Montego Bay showing themselves as true champions here and coming up with a victory. The rain is falling now at the Mobe Sports Complex, but that isn't deterring the celebration here. The fans are excited, Portmore dejected. It's Montego Bay, the champions again.
And knowing the coach, the owner, Powell, well, this is the first goal. Look at Grusencroft, ice cool. A man retreating on the goal line, doesn't matter, doesn't rush him. He's only focused on finding the spot in the goal where he's going to place that shot. Very, very good goal at a crucial time. The game crying out for something, and that something was supplied by Jermaine Grusencroft.
Well, Danique, I know you just spoke to Jacomino Barrett, and you had a talk earlier on with Ambosley. It was a really tough call for us to decide on who was the man of the match, because Ambosley's effort as a team leader must take credit. Look at that bin strike. It was an effort that could have demoralized Montego Bay United, but Mobe remained resilient and they came back with that goal. A fine strike by Dino Williams, his 16th goal of the season. A man that is accustomed to scoring important goals for Montego Bay United. And even though Portmore celebrated here with that comeback goal, all the plaudits now going to Montego Bay United and Dino Williams, their outstanding striker that has delivered for them once again.
And you can't blame a defensive lapse for this goal. There were 6 defenders on the premises, but he reacted so quickly to his mistake. It was a back heel he was trying to fashion, didn't come off, and then bang, quick as a flash, he beat the goalkeeper, Shaven Sean Paul. That's outstanding play from one of the most outstanding players in local football, Dino Williams, back from injury to give his team victory.
So we're under rain amid celebration here for Montego Bay United. The fans have given us a break because, as you saw earlier on, when we were surrounded by the players themselves, it was pretty difficult for us to operate. But the players have now attracted the fans away from us, so we now can present the closing with some level of peace and not much chaos. But it really has been a tremendous season, guys.
It has been fantastic. The season really bubbled to the boil. It wasn't a flat end. It wasn't a soda with which the fizz was shaken out. You had sustained excitement right throughout. The semi-finals were great, and the final was lacking something up to the point when Woozencroft scored. Then Binns gave us something else, and then Dino Williams applied the coup de grace matador style.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. And I mean, even though Montego Bay win, I love you guys, big up on yourself. And I mean, George, you always hear me say Giacomino Bart. It wasn't his best game, but I think Giacomino should get goalkeeper of the century.
He wasted so much time for his team. Brilliant goalkeeping from him and game management down the stretch.
Yes, but Binns, I have to give it to Binns. Binns, that was my play for this match, man. That goal from Binns was
back
excellent.
in November, the producers asked us as presenters who we think would have won the Red Stripe Premier League. A certain L. Whitaker said Montego Bay United. You remember that, guys?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much.
This man over here was who?
Champions. Champions.
Great RSPL season here. Great to have you with us all over Toronto and the New York Tri-State as well. And everyone here in Jamaica watching the championship. G-John, who was a part of our broadcast for the first part of the season as well. But that wraps up the 2015-2016 season. A tremendous season of football on all levels. And congratulations to Montego Bay United.
Let's go.
Teams, we're getting teams.
No, you are getting things.
Rashima Kelly, assistant brand manager of Red Stripe, presents a big Red Stripe bottle to Danique.
A personalized beer. You're going to drink your name, okay?
Thanks, Rishi.
This is from all of the MVPs. All of the MVPs over the course of the season.
All that I've gone through with the MVPs to get those interviews. And I think today was the topping on the cake because, listen, it was rough over there. It was rough. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. I shall not drink it.
Okay.
Don't drink all of it.
You know.
All right, well, Rashima is suggesting to Danique that she should be careful because that's a lot of beer there. So she has to drive back to Kingston, I think, at some point. Great having the Red Stripe Premier League here on Sportsmax Fans. See you next season.
Can't wait.
Bye.